managed to say it wrong. Let's do this as we start to the bottom right-hand side. First player to introduce here is the red Terran player from Team Liquid, Euthermal. And he's going up against the blue Zerg to the top left-hand side of the map, sponsored by Red Bull, Nurture. Using his Nurture BlizzCon portrait as his little decal here. Woody, how you doing? Says Karen. Doing good. It's a good day. It's a fun day. We've had some good games. So we actually had some really good games so far. So it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying them. And very excited that we're not seeing a proxy racks out of this man in the bottom right hand side. 3 racks proxy, 2 games in a row against Solid to take that serious. That was a very quick one. But nice to see that at least game number 1 of this. I'm sure we'll see some proxy racks throughout the series. Euthermal's kind of like that, but at least here in game number 1 is just going to be the racks and the gas to set up in towards a Reaper, set up in towards the very standard expansion, which we oftentimes do expect to see in the TVT, sorry. Adzi in the chat for the Chia 5, how you doing? Thanks so much for the 5 bits. Like I say, the bits are slow and steady today. We're just slowly chipping away at our bit boss, little by little. Little by little. Little by little. We should play that song. We should play that song in the break. That would be a great song. That'd be a really good song to play in the break. That's what I'm gonna play next break. Hang on, let me cue that up. I don't want to forget. Perfect. It's ready. Man. Anyways, we are getting set up. We're looking to see what's going to be happening and just waiting to see what the game plan is here from a couple of players. Obviously, so far, it's just very standard expansions and initial setups for the first 2 to 3 minutes. This is all we usually expect to see from the Terran versus Zerg, unless proxy racks are coming down and all the rest of it, as we are going to have this Reaper popping up and continue to come in towards the upper left-hand side to try and just work his way through a couple of these, drones, a couple of these Zerglings. Already bouncing a couple of those drones away, and we are going to see these Lings continue to go on forwards, and they are going to be able to well, push that Reaper back for the moment. So Feelings continue to chase on down, and we are just going to be seeing the Reaper does pick off one of the Zerglings. That's nicely done. Speed just coming through. Orbital Command is on its way on the natural, and the factory is going to make it swap over towards the reactor, and we are going to see a third CC. This is just a single gas, so it's a straight up normal build here from Euthermal. It means a starport will come down, a couple of Hellions, but really just nothing too surprising. Probably just a Viking out of the starport as well, as we get set up into this in the next few moments. Action Issue in the chat asking, is there any way to subscribe for a whole year? I think there is. I think when you subscribe, you can choose to pay for an entire year up front. I think. That definitely used to be a thing, that you could pay for an entire year up front or so. I think it's just an option when you do subscribe, but maybe not. I don't know. It's been actually a little while since I subscribed to someone myself personally. I've been doing a lot of sub guests, but not actually subscribing. Or when I do subscribe, I don't pay attention to it. But I'm pretty sure it's an option when you click on the subscribe thing that you can choose to subscribe for a year. But I'm sure someone else will be able to. Help you out with an answer, as we do see this Reaper and a couple of Hellions just coming across the map and having a look to see what they can maybe get up to, of course. I mean, the third hatchery already down from Nurture. He's throwing down a Roach Roar in here, and he's got a little bit of gas to get the first 3 Roaches out just to keep these Hellions pushed away. It's just the first kind of few Roaches, but not looking to be anything aggressive. He's not going to walk across the map with these. He just wants to make sure, again, he can push those Hellions away and just play nice and safely moving onwards. Do you see the single Marine is going to work his way through this Overlord in the main base, which is, nonetheless, though, going to get through, and is going to see this Orbital. Now, it's Banshee on the way from the starport, but it's cloakless, so it is just full-on defensive Banshee to help him stay very safe with this third command center. With the third command center coming in early in the game, you don't have as much production as you might usually, so the Banshee goes a long way to helping out against Roach-based attacks, which might try and bust on through if Nurture figures out what's going on, and if he realizes that, his opponent is being a little bit aggressive. Nurture just needed a quick second there, so let's just resume. We're right back into action here. as we do see the Banshee coming across towards the upper left hand side. Just going to patrol here just south of the couple of bases, and we do see Hellions. Oh, they just actually missed the chance to grab those Lings. A little bit late to actually attack, but not too bad. A couple of engineering bays on the way up, and we already saw that this was going to be Bioplay with the Stimpak coming through. And the engineering bays, just something you expect to see if Bio is going to be the play. Nurture's going to have a few of his Lings getting roasted here. So a few of his Lings going to go down. We do see drones getting taken down in the natural. As Hellions moving up in towards the main base, they're going to try and get a little bit more damage done as well right now. So continue to move around. 6 workers killed so far, 9 workers killed so far, 10. I mean, this is 6 Hellions, right? So 10 workers. Never nice to lose 10 workers, but at least you get all 6 Hellion kills forward. Maybe you get to the left worker kill. Oh my god, that grenade by the Reaper. Wow, 12 workers. That's a nice little couple of extra at the end. But, yeah, I mean, 12 workers killed. I mean, for 6 Hellions, it's okay. You know, I thought, it's not amazing for Nurture to lose to kill 6 Hellions to lose 12 workers. It's not game ending for that either. It does take away a lot of Euthermal's map control. It means those Hellions won't be Hellbats in the next fight or anything. So there's a lot, there's a lot of different bits and pieces to look at here when you consider what really happens when those Hellions get taken down. Now we do see 1-1 upgrades, combat shields as well on the way from Euthermal. Another couple of barracks in the main base, and the reactor on the starport is also finished up. A couple of medevacs will be able to come on out, and we will just be seeing this Baneland Nest just a couple of moments away, as we do see a 4th hatchery dropping down from Nurture as well. These couple of queens just sat towards the ramp, and we do see the creep teamers just starting to spread on a little bit further forwards here, so spreading that creep forwards just a little bit, and again, I mean, roach speed coming up, the +1/+1 from our Zerg player 2, as we do see that Baneland Nest is about to finish up in the next couple of moments. So a very kind of standard Nurture play, which is kind of the Roach style in towards the later Bane lane, so he plays kind of Roach Bane rather than the Hydra Bane, which was very popular for a long time. Obviously the Infestation Pit coming down as well, obviously just means he wants to go straight in towards the Hive Tech. But there's the first push from Euthermal. It's going to line up with +1/+1 attack upgrades, it's going to line up with a combat shield upgrade, and it's going to allow him to be very aggressive as he gets towards this 4th base. He wants to give these tanks a little bit spread out so a set of corrosive bars can't just come down and shut them down immediately. A few of these Marines off to the side. I like what he's doing though, it's a very typical thing. I first saw Major or Special doing this in, maybe it was even WCS Light, I can't remember how long ago it was. But it's a very powerful position. Maybe it was actually at WESG Grand Finals. It's a very powerful position where you can just pull back towards the tanks time and time again. It's a very popular location to push in as as a Terran player. You see him coming in, he's looking for a couple of those Ravagers. Doesn't quite find them yet as those corrosive bars coming down, but not really connecting them all too much. Again, tanks just behind the rocks as we are going to be seeing these units coming in. And, well, there's the corrosive bars on the siege tanks, right? And that's why Euthermal was trying to keep those as spread as possible. And the spread does work. Another tank shot goes down. Euthermal was completely cleaned up, but in fairness, he killed off quite a bit here. If you look at the units lost, 6 Roaches, 3 Ravagers. He got himself a Queen as well. I mean, losing the 3 tanks is painful, but he's definitely keeping himself up there and competitive in terms of what he has on the map. And now he'll just start building that tank count up again with double factory, so he's going to have a lot of tanks ready for the 2-2 push, which is going to be the pre-hive timing in this game. 2 medevacs up the right-hand side, and as they begin to unload, we're going to see a couple of creep teamers starting to be cleaned out here. So, a couple of creep teamers cleaned out already, and just going to be seeing the Marines continuing to pick their way through creep teamer after creep teamer. So a bunch of creep teamers going down, and again, Roaches and Ravagers continue to gather up towards the top side of the map. And we are just going to be seeing these few Marines of Euthermal coming through the center of the map as well. And a nice little scan to get rid of some of that creep. This is a really nice find because he's going to get a ton of creep teamers, even another active one here at the end. Look how far back he pushes the creep. I mean, that's one of those scans you don't see every day when it comes to creep clearing. It cleaned out so much. Nurture restricted in terms of what he has on the map now, in terms of how you can move around and so on, as we do have the Hive Tech on the way up in the natural expansion. So Hive is about to finish here, and the Hive finishing obviously allows Nurture to continue his tech choices up in towards Ultravist most likely. Euthermal with a big push around the left side though, and again as 2-2 finishes up, this push will get set up and into position. Euthermal sees this army, he scans it even, but he's more interested in just coming around and denying this base ASAP. There's an Infestor mixed into this, just the one of them for the fungal growth, which can maybe be the difference between Banelands connecting and not. As you are going to see those tanks in siege, and He can't relocate. He actually sees those roaches on their own here. They're on the wrong side of the rocks, and Nurcho is trapped in a corner, and he is not going to take a good trade simply because the numbers aren't there, and that are some losses from Nurcho, which is going to be extremely painful. But did he just kill the tanks? Euthermal just left his tanks to the left-hand side, so while Euthermal kills a lot, he lost 4 tanks there. Sorry, he lost 2 tanks. He must have pulled a couple of tanks back, because he had a couple more. Wow, but that's still a big play by Euthermal. Killing all the Ravagers especially, that's a lot of gas, which just disappears from the game. Nice target fire on the single Bane to get rid of it before it becomes a threat post-fungal growth. It's another creep tuber, and Euthermal seems as though he is dictating the pacing of this one. Pushing around the left-hand side here. The Investor is in trouble from the Banshee. Has to split away from these Banes, but if he gets away from these Banes well enough, I mean, look at that typical Euthermal split. Just beautiful to watch as the Marines spread out, fan out in this game. Continue to push on forward. He's just going to push in towards this base. He's got a drop on the right-hand side as well, and Nurcho does not have much left to give in this game. Number 1, Euthermal, showing us that yes, while he free racked earlier, this game he goes free CC, and he's able to just macro this one out straight through to a victory. Cleans up, nice and simple, no real questions to be asked here. This is a good one from Euthermal to clean up and put himself in a nice little spot moving forwards. I mean, again, maxed out, just has to keep on fighting here, taking another couple of engagements. Taking game 1 in the best of 5 always nice for your momentum in the series, and this was Nurcho's first map pick of the series as well. I'd say Acid Plant is, I think the map pool in general right now, players are kind of happy to play on a lot of the maps against the other races, which hasn't happened for a while. Which is cool to see, but it does mean that, you know, while this is Nurcho's map pick, it's not the end of the world that he's lost this one, as you're going to be seeing in Euthermal. With enough units just to stim right on in towards the Ravagers and the Roaches, and you can just see how far ahead he is by the way that he just took that careless fight. But careless in the way that he knew it was going to work out. He knew it was going to end the game. Euthermal picks up alterations he can make, and suddenly he's much more aggressive with those Roaches that he makes in the early stages. Anyways, we do see to the top left-hand side, the red Terran player from Team Liquid, Euthermal. Going up against the blue Zerg to the bottom right-hand side of the map, this is Nurcho. Game 2 of this best of 5s. We get setting up, we get ready to go. We look to see what these players are going to be coming out with here. Nurcho and Euthermal looking to we can try and get themselves another point on the scoreboard. Loving the copy pastas in the chat. Inno overrated. Solar eliminated. Nurcho about to get verminated, says Fuzzy Star. I like that one. Some good memes coming down right now. Some good memes coming down at the moment. Alright guys, loving the chat interaction today. Great to see so many of you talking about the games as we go. Great to see so many of you not having balanced wine and all sorts of other nonsense. It's been a pretty friendly chat today, a pretty happy chat, which is always great to see. It's never a fun time when you have a chat which is like, wah, Ravens, wah, which is something which does often happen. Well, we're just going to be seeing a hatch gas and pool here from Nurcho in these early stages. Taco Stuff coming in with the 8-month resub. How's it going, mate? Thank you so much for the 8 months. Appreciate the support. Here's some love in the chat for Taco Stuff, guys. Thank you so much for the 8 months of resubscribing. Loving it. As we do see a natural expansion coming down here. And Taco Stuff with his typical Cheer 2, then Cheer 5. Is it going to be any more? Or is it just going to stop at the Cheer 5? Looks as though it will. Thank you so much for the cheers as well, a few little bits. Appreciate it, mate. Well, we are going to be seeing link speed on the way up right now from Nurcho. We're going to be seeing the factory from Euthermal is on the way up as well in the main base. A Marine popping out, and, well, did we see a Marine last time? I'm not actually 100% sure if we did. I don't think we did. I think he went straight into the reactor, so I think this is a little bit different. And already a big difference is taking the second gas, of course. That means Euthermal will not take such a fast third CC. Instead, he'll take his starport very soon. As he takes his starport, he'll get into that sort of position where he'll, you know, where he gets in towards the kind of the setup, which allows him to play very nicely in towards kind of the, you know, in towards the aggressive sort of opening and all the rest of it. As we do see this Reaper is going to be pushed away by the Queen and the Lings. So Reaper gets pushed down up the right-hand side, and it's going to be seeing the starport, going to be dropping down the main base. A couple of Hellions on the way out of the factory. You'll dropping down as well on the back of this natural and the marine, just pushing this overload away through the top side of the map. Reaper checks over towards the third base here and does see that's just on the way up. Grenade comes down, blasts a queen away just slightly. And I'm just going to be seeing the creature is finishing here as well, so obviously just starting to get that presence on the map for himself, where he wants to obviously mostly connect up the third base and the natural so he can defend very easily between the two of them. That's one of the main important things to get going in the early game, as well as just, I mean, forward creep as well is very important too. You know, the more creep you have in front of your bases, the better of a time you're going to have when it comes to defending against, you know, or just seeing attacks coming, which obviously means you can defend a lot better as well. Again, Rotron will finish up shortly here, as we do see a Liberator on the way up from Ufilmal. Again, a different build from him this time, gets the stop almost much faster, and that allows him to come on in and to push away this Overlord. So Overlord is going to get taken down. Nicely done. And a couple of Cyclones from Ufilmal just on the way up as well, so this is going to be a bit more of an aggressive opening from Ufilmal. He's already got 6 Hellions. I imagine an Armory very soon, although sometimes he does bypass the Armory. And he will probably be building a third CC. In fact, there is the third CC right on time to just fill the gap in the wall. Nope, there is the army. So it's going to be this Hellbat Cyclone attack with the Liberator to draw queens away in towards the main base or so. We do have this Viking just checking around and trying to find more overlords to pick away at here. And he finds a second one right now. Obviously, nowadays in TVZ, we don't see a lot of Pneumatized Carapace, Overlord speed coming in early in the game. So this Viking, if it finds a couple of Overlords on the edges of bases, it is pretty much guaranteed kills. I guess kind of these ones here are very safe because queens can fight against the Viking. You see a Roach counter through the middle of the map. Ufilmal doesn't have anything at home, a couple of Hellions, but that's about it. But it does mean that Nurture is completely missing out on units on this side of the map to defend against the Hellions and the Cyclones, which are already arriving. So a couple of drones going down already, this hatchery taking some damage. And well, as the Cyclones pop out over here, I kind of get the feeling that Ufilmal will be able to start to find himself a defense. The Liberator is here to set up in the main base as well. It will want to get into action very, very soon. Again, as these Cyclones pop, that will change a lot. So far, it's Nurture who's found the more worker kills. I think it's Ufilmal who has more potential to get worker kills in the next few moments. You can see that worker count increasing drastically in terms of what's been killed in the last few moments. Cyclones starting to defend at home. Liberator back in play in the main base, even cancelling some of the producing units, which makes it even more difficult to clean up these couple of Cyclones and the Hellbat, which are still causing so much chaos over here. And love the Hellbat actually getting on top of those Zerglings, helping out an absolute ton. Liberator still in the main, cancelling some of the new building drones. This queen hides away in the corners. The last Cyclone will finally go down to reinforcing Zerglings. 16 drones down, but Nurture's going to tap out of the game because he knows he's not in control of this, and he knows that Ufilmal has more series, one game at a time, and now he's up by 2. And he is in the bottom right hand side of Backwater, our third map here of this best of 5 semi-final. A pull first from Nurture, not going to risk it against the possibility of something like the proxy barracks, as our top left hand side, our red Zerg, is Nurture. Winner of this plays DNS in our grand final here today. Very, very excited to see how that happens as well. I'm excited to see DNS play. I've been getting very excited about DNS's play lately. He's been playing awesome. I've been really enjoying casting him, and we really have seen some good games from him, honestly, for the most part. So, really enjoyed his PvP series against Creator. I mean, that was truly just a pleasure to watch, right? I mean, you can just sit back and watch like 5 games of crazy PvP. No 2 games are really the same either. Even when both of them went Phoenix versus Phoenix, there was so many differences and all the rest of it. Anyone remember if DNS qualified in WTCS? Yes, he did. He was the last player to qualify. He qualified winning against Namshar in the final series of the second qualifier in the losers bracket. Alright then, well, seeing where we go from here, third hatchery already on the way down from Nurture. He plays without gas in the early stages. And again, the 6-lings are actually going to come across the map, and Ufilmal across the map now realizes it's a pull first. He's going to be in some trouble when it comes to defending against 6-lings. As SCV goes down, he cancels the CC. This is a response that Ufilmal's had for quite a while, where he just doesn't waste any time. He just cancels the CC, he doesn't care, he will just look for some damage across the map with the Reaper instead, and he'll just deal with the fact that he says, okay, well, you made 6 things, you've hurt your own economy, you will hurt mine. It's kind of weird, because I remember casting him in the, what was it? It might have been like way back in the Christmas invitationals that we did. He might have even done this sort of against Reyno, I believe. I think Raynor was doing it and, you know, had the 6 lanes, and Uthermal just kept cancelling his command center against it, so it's definitely something he's done in the past. And as we are going to be seeing the Ripper just continue to move around here and continue to see what else is happening. A couple of command centers in the main, Uthermal will just go 3CC then. Same build as in game number 1. The single gas for a long time, knife throws down the starport as well, and again for the moment just a couple of Hellions on the way up to help him defend in the early stages. Against a gasless Nurture, this is obviously fantastic because there's not a lot Nurture can do to punish this at all. It also means that Nurture being a little bit greedy is not going to be punished by Uthermal, you know. While he will have a 1-1-1 setup, he won't have units out too quickly, and so he won't be in that kind of hyper-aggressive state that he could be in if he opened double gas early on in a later third. So, interesting setup altogether here, I have to say, as you will see that Reaper just kind of coming around, and he's going to be, again, trying to find a kill or two, finding some information. Not much to be really seen right now, which is fine. I mean, not much to be seen is information in itself, because it means that there's not really much coming your way, so that's all good for the most part. As we do have this Reaper going towards the top side of the map, taking that watchtower. So 5 roaches on the way up. Nurture just going to be on 37 drones, but making more, so it's again just those defensive few roaches early. Again, very similar to the first game so far, so eyes on what happens next. We see that Cloakless Banshee coming through. Ufem will even move his third base out over the side. Oh, this is so cute because Nurture doesn't see what's happening, right? He doesn't see this third base, and as Ufem flies it around the vision of the Overlord, Nurture will have no idea that Ufem is on a fast third CC. In fact, as he scouts around here, he won't see anything. Now, the thing that may hurt Ufem is that Nurture might just assume the third CC is in location over here already. And that is where that CC is going to end up going in the next few moments. But the fact that Nurture doesn't have a scout here, he might just assume it. And so, even though this was a really cute play by Ufem, it might not actually have much of an impact. I said the word cute again, guys. I'm sorry, I didn't think of a new word. That was an adorable little play by Ufem, pulling the CC around the side of that Overlord's vision. There you go. A synonym for cute has been utilized. Alright. So I'm going to see this Queen just pushing the Banshee back in towards the center of the map. Carapace upgrade on the way here early on from Nurture, and just going to be seeing 1-1 upgrades in the Stim Pack going through from Ufem as well, so nothing really too crazy so far, pretty much what we'd expect this to be, and just going to be having the setup here from Ufem just continuing into exactly what we want it to be as well. A nice little macro game of Backwater. Backwater is a great map for macro games, and excited to see what might happen here as we continue along. A few Hellions coming up on the top side, they'll get 1 and 2 creep units right away. It's a nice start off, as we are going to be seeing the Stim Pack is about to finish up, and again, another couple of medevacs from Ufem just on the way out, as we see those Hellions continuing to come around to the left-hand side, continue to set up into potentially a run-by, I guess, but it's really hard to get a run-by off when there's a full wall-off here for Nurture. He used melee upgrades this time, by the way, which is a bit different from the last game, if I'm not mistaken. He went missile upgrades and very Roach Ravager heavy. Correct me if I'm wrong, chap, I'm pretty sure he did go missile upgrades initially last time. This time, maybe he went melee though. It wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility to go melee, because he does play into Ling Bane, and he does play into the Ultras. So maybe I'm just misremembering, but it is melee this time. So again, while he's making roaches for now, he is mostly going to be focusing on Ling production and on seeing to Ultras as soon as possible, as this Infestation Pit comes up. One difference is he definitely doesn't have the Baneling Nest just yet, right? So I'll be intrigued to see how that develops as Ufem with the same push to the top side of the map. This time he's got a couple of tanks rather than 3 of them. He still has his Hellions alive as well. Let's see how this initial engagement is going to go. These upgrades are all going to be finishing around the same time. Roach speed, 1-1 for the Terran, +1 Carapace for the Zerg. Obviously the melee upgrade doesn't really matter because there isn't really Lings out just yet. Those tanks are going to get so much done though. I think Nurture might just die. He's taking so many hits here. I mean, Ufem feels as though he barely loses anything in this first fight, and Nurture's units were just melting away. The tanks continue to press forwards. Need to stay a little bit split up to minimize now corrosive bar potential. Oh man, these roaches are just taking an absolute beating, and Nurture does not really seem to have a way to fight against this here. Roaches, Ravages, and drones just pull on in and try and defend. But when you're pulling the drones to fight against one of the first pushes of the Terran player, it's not pretty. And even if this gets cleaned up now we're talking about a 10 workers killed situation for Ufernal. And this army, yes, it gets taken down, but 10 workers killed, a lot of roaches killed, resources lost, tells the tale of this story. 3,600 against 2.2k. Ufernal's on the free bases and his 4th base building in location. That's how confident he is right now. As we continue to set up here on Backwater, the big plus for Nurture is that he survives, and by surviving, he gets into the Hive Tech, which will be an Ultralisk Cavern in a moment or two, and if he can survive until Ultras are out, there's always that possibility of a bit of a turnaround here. So, possibility is still available. As we will see some Marines just starting to unload on this watchtower on the south side of the map now. Sim forwards, we're going to see a couple of Crypt Tumors probably going to be taken away at right now, and we are just going to be having the few of these Crypt Tumors being picked away at. And fall back in towards the center of the map, and again, Lings, Roaches, Ravagers. Obviously now the Lings are out, but still no Banelings, so I'm not sure how much this +2 melee is really going to do. I would have preferred the +1 missiles, I think, over the course of the game, but I'm sure Nurture has his reasoning, probably because he is, in the end, heading towards Ultras. Again, it doesn't maybe help him now, but it will definitely be better for him 2 or 3 minutes from now when he has Ultras on the map to have melee upgrades rather than missiles. Again, just fights like this one though, just going Ufernal's way time and time again. He kites well, he gets himself into good positions. The medevacs keep the Marines alive for an unhealthy amount of time almost. It's like, how can you survive this long? How can you take so much medevac heal in Marines? Surely there's some sort of radiation or something there that's going to start affecting you guys sometime. But no, Ufernal just complete confidence as he plays on through this, and well, as he comes deep into the south side he finds himself an Overlord kill, and Nurture is really just crumbling at the moment. He is really just crumbling. A couple of Ultralisks on the way up from Nurture, another Infestor is about to pop a Spire on the way down in the main base as well. Again, a few more Ultras just continuing on along, and just going to be seeing more units popping out here as we do see this army of Ufernal coming through the center of the map towards the upper left-hand side. I mean, again, this is kind of like the Doom push, right? 2-2 just before Ultras are popping. I mean, that said, I mean, just before Ultras popping, Ultras are going to be popping soon. There's a lot of creep that Ufernal has to work his way through. I guess the bigger issue is that Chitinous playing only just started now, so even if the Ultras come out, if they don't have Chitinous play and then they take some hits, they're going to disappear so quickly. We're not going to be seeing the Marines stimming up, and that's going to be a dead 5th base at least. Nurture will loop around, probably looking to flank in the tanks on this side. He does have vision of that with a couple of Crypt Tumors still. He might just go for a straight up counter-attack, but look at the units that are waiting for a counter-attack. Ufernal has so much to work with over here. Obviously he sees the Ultras, so Liberator production can begin. He can begin to get a setup against that. He has this Ling counter coming on through Planetary Force, but so many Marines to stream on in. And meanwhile this big fight starts on up. The Fungal Growths land on a couple of units, but not amazing. Again, he's fighting before Chitinous, and without Chitinous, these Marines are actually able to fight against the Ultras where usually they wouldn't be able to. Ufernal cleans up the counter-attack as well, and he begins to reinforce this army. And once his reinforcements get here, Nurture, well, he just lost that fight, he just lost the run-by. Ufernal looks as though he's going to be making it into our grand finals. Ufernal is going to be being in our grand finals of like 3 of our events, or 2 of our events in a row, I think. In terms of our invitational and our open events, like these larger tournaments that we do at Wardy TV. Some insane consistency from the man. And as he lost out to Reynor in the Christmas Invitational Grand Finals, I feel like he wasn't in the finals of another Invitational event either, I don't think. I have to check that one. I'm almost sure he wasn't there. No, he might have been, because he beat Clem, I think. He lose out to Reynor twice. Did we have repeat finals? Maybe I'm remembering something wrong. Anyways, yeah, in the Christmas Invitational ZVZ finals. Now I remember. Anyways, enough of that. I mean, this game continues, and the Ultras will try and break on through this. A couple of Liberators are set up. The Corrosive Bars start to come down and push this away. Nurture will make a hold here. He will push the Marines back. The Chitinous plate making a big difference. Still not a cheap hold, right? He's losing a lot. Ravagers to the side are continuing to be picked away at. Eventually, Ufernal lifts up when it gets really bad for him. He has a lot of money to spend, Ufernal. A couple more Liberators on the way out. His final set of upgrades coming through. I mean, that's another thing, though, from Nurture's point of view. He's completely drained of money, and he doesn't even have free on the map, because he's been throwing everything he can into units to hold on right now. And so while he has held on right now, the repercussions of skipping free, that's going to hurt him in another minute or 2. Just as I was rambling about other events, I think I remember now. Reynor won the Christmas Invitational against Namshar in the finals, and then he beat Ufernal 3-2 in the grand finals of our Wardy TV Invitational number 2, which was the last Invitational event we did. So, yeah, Ufernal looking to make it to back-to-back Invitational finals here for ourselves and for us, and that would be awesome to see, of course. We do see a couple of medevacs coming around this left side and going to be dropping in towards this mineral line. Oh, Spore Crawlers. going to be able to, well, get a little bit of damage on the medevac, but it doesn't stop all of the Marines getting out of the medevacs, and so still, they are going to be able to get a bit done. It forces a response from Nerchio, and it gives Eufimmel the chance to position his army to the top side of the map yet again. And he's just going to keep on trying to deny this 5th base. If he's on 5 bases and Nerchio can't get off of 4, then there is not really going to be any way in which Nerchio can make this happen, as we are going to see those last couple of Marines going down. This base has to be cancelled again. Nerchio just cannot make this work at the moment. Couple of ghosts on the way out. I mean, the Liberator count keeps building, and again, Eufimmel just over time he has built himself up towards this grand army, which is just going to get so much done, as we do see in the long term. Feeling is running in, Proctors as well, and we are just going to be having the Ultras pushing through to try and take this one. Well, sorry, the Libs are a bit out of position actually. They're going to relocate on top of the tanks. How many Ultras will go down here? Maybe just a couple. Liberator's getting a lot more done in the last stage of this, so Corrosive Powers will clean up those Liberators. Eufimmel actually has another army in the center, tanks and Liberators included. Another command center continue to move through the south side. It's getting a little bit crazy. He's going to get the 5th base again. This time Nerchio doesn't find himself a cancel on every 300 minerals right now. Counts so much for Nerchio because he is limited on bases. He can't afford just to be losing those minerals, which he's worked so hard to mine with. Pushing it forwards. A couple of Liberators siege on up and reducing tanks. Just pushing forwards. Pushing in, he's going to be seeing this Hatchery taking a little bit more damage. A couple of ghosts come in for a snipe. They're going to get themselves, was that Ultras that went low, I think? Nerchio taps out with a Terran symbol, and that is going to be Eufimmel going through the finals with a clean 3-0.